So there you sit at your computer watching this video and thinking, my child takes a lot of tests. So what is this Explore test all about anyway? The Explore is the first in a series of 3 tests that your child will take in middle and high school to track their readiness for college. These tests are produced by ACT, and all 3 together are called the ACT College and Career Readiness System, which is a mouthful. But it's a system because each test shows whether or not your child is on track to graduate from high school ready to handle college level work. Students in Kentucky take the Explore in the 8th grade, the Plan in the 10th grade, and the ACT in the 11th grade. So hopefully that starts to help answer the question that you may be thinking. Why is the Explore important?
The ACT test is the most important because it is a college admissions exam. In preparation, the Explore and the Plan give your child a chance to practice. They also show his academic strengths and weaknesses now before he reaches his junior year in high school. The Explore also has a second focus, career interest and exploration. We'll talk more about the career exploration part of the Explore in part 2 of this video. For now, let's just look at the academic side.
So first of all, what's on the test? Well, the Explore test is different from a regular classroom test. Classroom tests are limited to the specific content learned in just one class. But the Explore is designed to measure your child's knowledge of concepts. It covers 4 different subject areas: English, math, science, and reading. The questions on the Explore show how students are able to apply the things that they've learned in these 4 subjects to everyday life outside the classroom. Each subject is a separate section of the test. There are 40 English questions, 30 math questions, 30 science questions, and 28 reading questions. In addition, there are also several questions about student interests and work habits. Your child also has a chance to indicate if they need help in certain areas, such as public speaking. Students have 30 minutes for each section with a total of 2 hours for the whole test. One of the most important things to understand is that this is a timed test and that there are no penalty for wrong answers. Again, no penalty for wrong answers. So the only sure way to get an answer wrong is not to answer it at all. If there is a question that stumps your child, she should skip it and come back to it after she has gone through all the questions. If she still doesn't know, it's better to take her best guess than to leave it blank. It won't count against her and she just might guess right. The school will provide pencils, a calculator, and blank paper. And if your child has an individual education plan, special accommodations such as extra time can be made. Your child's counselor and teacher can offer some additional test-taking tips, or you can visit the ACT website.
A few weeks after the Explore test is given, schools receive the results. They'll get 2 copies. One copy will be placed in your child's school file, the other given to them or you. How schools distribute student results vary. Some will have a one-on-one session with students to review the scores. Others might host a parent night to walk students and parents through their results. If your school does this, please go. You will learn quite a bit. Regardless of how you get it, you and your child will receive an individual Explore student score report. While you might expect it to look like a normal test grade, it is not quite that simple. This is what your child's Explore score report looks like. Okay, it looks complicated, but let's break it down.
This is where you will find your child's scores. The Explore isn't scored with a letter grade like you might expect. Instead, each subject has a number score between 1 and 25, along with a composite score, which is just the average of the scores in all 4 subjects. In this section, you can see not only their scores, but also how their scores compare with the other students in their school, in their district, in the state, and in the nation. The percentages you see here are not the percent of the questions they got right on the test, but what percentile your student falls in as compared to other students. For example, this student has an English score of 14. This 65% here does not mean that he got 65% of the English questions right. It actually means that he scored the same or higher than 65% of the students in his school.
Now for the most important section. It is called college readiness. The Explore, Plan, and ACT all have what are known as benchmark scores for each of the subjects. What is the benchmark score?
I'm glad you asked. A benchmark is basically just the target score. This section here shows you how your child's scores compare to the benchmark score in each subject, whether they are below, at, or above the benchmark.
If your child is at or above the benchmark score in a subject, she is on the right track to be college ready in that subject. Of course, that doesn't mean she's ready to pack her bags for college tomorrow. Rather, it shows that if she continues her current level of effort and success in school and takes college prep courses in high school, she will likely be ready for first-year college courses. Let's use this student's math score as an example. His score of 17 is at benchmark. This predicts that in a credit-bearing first-year math college class, he has at least a 50% chance of achieving a B or higher, or at least a 75% chance of getting a C or higher.
But what if your child is below benchmark in any subject?
That means she needs some improvement in that area in order to get on track for being college ready. This report also offers some suggestions on specifically what she needs to work on and concepts that she needs to better understand. We'll talk about that in just a minute.
First, let's look at another important part of the report. This section called Estimated Plan Score. This tells you that if your child continues performing at the same level, he is likely to score within this range on the plan test that he will take in 10th grade. The composite score benchmark for plan is an 18, so this student looks to be fairly on track. If the highest number you see here on your child's report is below an 18, this will let you know that your child has some work to do to get on track by the 10th grade.
One more thing we want to point out on this side of the report is this section called Your Reported Needs. There are several questions on the Explorer that ask your child if they need extra help in a specific area, such as, do you need help improving your study skills? All those with check marks beside them are areas where your child indicated where they needed help. This is an important section to look at and talk about with your child's teachers and counselors. It's likely that your school has programs to help your child.
You'll also want to check out the GEAR UP Kentucky Family and Community Zone. There are lots of ideas and resources there to help you support your child's needs. You can find it at www.gearupky.org. Now that you have a better understanding of where your child stands and their strengths and weaknesses, let's flip the report over to look at the back side. This side is divided into sections by subject area. Each section shows how your child answered every question in that subject, how many they didn't answer, and how many they got right. Let's take this student as an example. We saw on the other side that she is 1 point below benchmark in reading. So let's take a closer look at the reading section. Here you can see she missed 23 out of 30 of the reading questions, but she did answer them all. You can also see the general concepts covered in the reading section and lots of suggestions for ways that she can improve her reading skills.
So now that you know where your student is strong and where they may need help, what's your next step? Well, the reason that the Explore and Plan tests are given so early in the school year is because schools use the test results to help make teaching better and to be more focused on what their students need. These results are an important tool for parents too, because they can help you advocate for your child. Whether your student is at benchmark or not, use this information to talk with your child's teacher or counselor to help them get or stay on track. They can tell you how they will be using this information to meet your child's needs in their classroom and give you ideas and resources that you can use with your child at home. Don't be concerned if you don't know exactly what to say. Teachers and counselors are familiar with the Explore Student Report and will be happy to speak with you about it and about their plans for making sure your students' needs are met. Be sure to check the next case on parent communication for advice for meeting and communicating with school staff.
If you didn't have the report with you when you watch this video, you may want to return to it when you have it in hand. It's important to have a conversation with your child about what you see on his or her report and make sure that they understand where they stand.
As mentioned earlier, the Explore also has a career exploration component. Stay tuned for part 2, where we will talk about how the Explore test helps you support your student in exploring and planning for their future career.